Welcome to Justice Unfiltered. My name is Tug Cowart. You're on Extra 106.3 along with Daniel Matalon. He is the CEO of a Second Chance Bail Bonds and a Second Chance Monitoring, who's been in town for an unusual amount of time. This dude is usually just on the road, all just burning up, like Road Warrior style, burning up the roads with daughter and family and equestrian and all that, but been home a lot lately, man.
Yeah.
It's good for you.
Good to be home.
Yeah, just to be off the road just a little bit.
School starting back. Yeah,
oh, yeah. That's exactly right. So glad to have Daniel in, and our guest this morning, Special Agent in Charge Paul Brown and FBI Special Agent Charles Orgbon, right?
Correct.
Yep. Special Agent Charles Orgbon Jr. of the Domestic Security Alliance Council. Special Agent Orgbon, we'll start with you. Been a FBI special agent since 2006. So you've been doing this a minute.
A little bit.
Yeah. So what brought you to the FBI? Because when I hear and see FBI, I automatically think, man, this is big time. There must be something serious going on if the FBI is involved. And it's funny, over the weekend, a friend of mine's daughter, her goal is to be an FBI agent. Mm-hmm. So I think what y'all do is very glamorous. You probably already know that, though. Or at least it appears that way.
I love this organization. So I had an interest in law enforcement since I was in the 9th grade.
Okay.
And so I grew up in South Carolina, Florence, South Carolina, where they had an Explore program for youth. So back then, I rode around with the police officers on the weekends.
Like a local, with the Lawrenceville, Florence Police Department?
Yes, Florence Police Department.
Yeah, that's cool.
In the police car with a uniform on.
That's awesome.
As a 9th grader. And so I always had an interest in law enforcement. After high school, I joined the Marine Corps, did 13 years in the Marine Corps, and then I didn't want to look back on life and say, what if? Yeah. So I applied to FBI. I always tried to do the best. I did the best in the Marine Corps,
yes,
choose
sir.
the best service, and then now the best law enforcement agency, right? So that's who I joined. Another reason I joined, I grew up with not a lot of role models around me.
Yes, sir.
So I saw a lot of bad things, and I knew I wanted to do something good.
I love that.
And so the FBI is that. They do something good every day.
We have a commonality, if you will. You're in the Marine Corps. I was in the Navy. We're the best Uber y'all ever had.
You're right.
We'd take y'all wherever you wanted to go, man. We'd float you wherever you need to be. I kid somewhat. It was kind of that, but it was a great time. My military experience was so incredible too. I look back on it so fondly. I don't know about you, but had I not, because you did 13 years, I only did 4. Had I not met my wife, I would have been a career sailor. There's no doubt. I loved the military. It was a great organization for me. The structure was there. I was not a great student. I know it's probably hard to tell now. You probably think, man, this guy's AJ squared away. There's no doubt, which I was not, and still am not to this day. But the military was such a good opportunity, and obviously set you up in a really good way to kind of at least understand the structure. Can you compare that a little bit, the Marine Corps structure to the FBI structure?
No.
There's no comparison at all?
No, I thought there was. As far as organization and leadership, it's totally different.
Ain't that cool?
Yeah.
All right. Also bringing in Paul Brown, Special Agent in Charge of the Atlanta Field Office, most recently in charge of the Mobile Field Office. Also an agent since 2006.
That's right.
What was it that got you interested in the FBI?
Well, after 9/11, I went back on active duty. I was Army officer.
Man, we got all the branches, almost.
But so I loved it as well, and I thought it was a great background. But I left a pregnant wife and came home to a 9-month-old, and so that's when I decided, I want to watch my kids grow up. So,
yes, sir.
What else can I do where I feel like it's meaningful every day, but I can actually be around to see my boys? So that's when I applied to the FBI, and I came in the beginning of 2006 and been doing it ever since.
Wow, and love the FBI. And would you say, because obviously Charles said different, the structure of the FBI very different than the Marine Corps, same way with the Army, completely different?
I think there's some similarity in that there is a hierarchy and there is some structure to it, but very different way you have to lead in the FBI. I mean, we don't just dictate orders and expect people to just be quiet and do as they're told, but really bring in people that are smart, independent, self-motivated problem solvers. And so those kind of people really do want to understand the why behind things and be part of developing the solution to it. So I think it's important to engage them that way.
Agent Orgbon, Domestic Security Alliance Council. Help me understand what that is. I've never heard that name a day in my life.
Yeah, so we call it DSAC. We use a lot of acronyms in the FBI. It's a strategic partnership between the United States government, the FBI, and Department of Homeland Security, and corporate America, the private sector industry. It's for two-way information sharing. What I do on a daily basis, I build relationships with Fortune 500 companies, mainly with the chief security officer or the chief information security officer. The FBI's mission is to help protect the American people, also American businesses. So we help protect their people, their assets, their data, their facilities, and mainly their brand.
How does that relationship get formed? I mean, how do you partner? Where? I mean, you just literally.
How does a business find you?
Like,
I mean, how would you know? I guess to like, who do you contact?
Yeah, so DSAC, you have to be a Fortune 1000 company. You have to have.
I would never be invited to be part of that. So you'll never be knocking on my door.
Fortune 1000.
That's big time.
You have to have an annual revenue of $2 billion.
Wow, man. Nothing to see here.
Okay.
You must have a U.S.-based chief security officer because we do have foreign companies.
Sure.
That's part of DSAC, but they have a chief security officer based in the United States.
Got it.
So, for example, Mercedes-Benz,
Yeah.
German company.
Yeah.
Mercedes-Benz North America is here in Atlanta.
Right.
They have a chief security officer here in Georgia.
Got it.
So,
But but how does the door get opened? I mean, do y'all go to them? Do they come to you?
Opens the door.
Well,
sounds like.
well, no, I know. Yeah, $2 billion that'll open a lot of doors. No, I get it. But I'm saying to develop the relationship to work together with the FBI. Who initiates that? Where does that come from?
sometimes we initiate it. Sometimes they reach out to us.
What would so walk me through those scenarios then? What would be a reason y'all would go to a Mercedes-Benz, because you use that example, or vice versa, a Mercedes-Benz North America and be like, hey, Agent Orgbon, this is what we're up against?
Yeah, so companies, those big companies, they're innovative. They are valued. They have a lot of, they generate a lot of annual revenue. So if something happens to them, they go under. That's impacting economic security. So how we look at it is economic security is national security.
Sure.
And so we have an interest in that. So there's times where we'll go out to certain companies and say, you'll be of value to the program. And likewise, some companies see value in our program and they come to us.
So are you guys almost a sounding board and like a guiding light for some of these, if they want to do stuff and kind of get wild in that world, like they're kind of checking it, like bouncing it off you guys, or no?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yes.
But do you mean like if they're thinking, hey, we want to work with XYZ company, do they come to y'all and say, hey, are they structurally sound, or if we partner with them, or is this a bad partnership for our data security? I don't know. I'm kind of guessing here.
So it's an application process too. It's a selection process. Not every company who raises their hand and want to be a part of DSAC.
Right. So it's more than just I mean, you have to qualify it clearly.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And so we also have 5 companies right now in the application selection process. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes they don't get selected because of various reasons. Mainly it's the lack of engagement with the FBI. So we like companies to reach out to us.
Sure, just two-way communication.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're only getting one side of the story, I mean, that's not helpful to anybody. Yeah. I just see, because there was the story out of the Pentagon. Was it last week or the week before, where they were using Microsoft, but they had people in China that were running, the computer systems or whatever. So that jumped out to me. I was like, well, that sounds like a bad plan. Does the FBI, do y'all look and help companies like navigate away from that? Or is that what the plan is, to try to help them avoid something like that?
Yeah, so we help companies mitigate risks and threats.
There we go.
So from the cybersecurity side, business email compromise, phishing schemes, hackings, intrusions, ransomware, which Atlanta is huge with that, right?
Holy smokes, yes.
And even on the physical side, right? Yeah. From insider threat to theft to...
Oh, we've had it here in Atlanta this year. I mean, we've had, Cobb County had, Atlanta,
And even, what was it, a few years ago... The pipeline company that's based in Alpharetta.
Colonial Pipeline.
Colonial, thank you. Yes, sir. Who used to be before that stadium was built, ran right through that stadium, and then they had to reroute it or whatever to build the stadium, and I'm sure that cost a pretty penny. But that's the thing. So we see it a lot. I don't even think the average everyday person thinks about how many security threats are in this city. We talked about it in the last show. Somebody had gotten a text about a bail bond, and this actually happened to a friend of mine too. They got a text about a bail bond because, unfortunately, they've been arrested. But the bail bond was to a link that wasn't real. They send $2,300 that they will never see again. Is that something that y'all would y'all go down as small as that?
State level.
That's a state.
Okay. On the federal level, we do have a threshold.
Yeah.
And as long as that crime meets that threshold, we would investigate.
Yeah. Well, yes. I guess probably with the Domestic Security Alliance Council,
which is a lot of that with the federal cases. They pay, so a lot of our state cases, when the feds pick it up, obviously the federal government obviously supersedes state. So the state bond actually goes away. So then I now no longer become liable. It transfers to the feds, and then what they do with the bond, which we don't do a ton of federal bonds anymore. We used to do a lot more than we do now. So that's kind of how that works. So it actually goes away. Wow. The bond actually goes away. So if it's a trafficking case and the feds pick it up, then I close it out on the state level, and then we rerun it on the federal level.
Goodness gracious, we're uncovering some stones that I didn't know we were going to get to today. But a fascinating conversation, and I can't wait to continue it here on Extra 106.3 with Special Agent Charles Orgbon and our guest Paul Brown, Special Agent in charge of the Atlanta Field Office. When we come back, let's talk about the DSAC, or is that the right DSAC? Am I right about that? Oh yeah, the DSAC offices throughout the country, and what makes the Atlanta one so unique. Next on Justice Unfiltered on Extra 106.3. Welcome back to Justice Unfiltered with Daniel Matalon, the CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds and A Second Chance Monitoring. My name is Tug Cowart. Here on Extra 106.3 today, our special guest is Special Agent Charles Orgbon with the FBI, Special Agent since 2006, and Paul W. Brown, also an agent since 2006. You work out of the office here in Atlanta. Are there DSAC offices around the country?
So there are field offices around the country. We have 55 field offices nationwide. Just think of any major city, we have a field office there. Atlanta is just one of those field offices. We do also have satellite offices. We call those resident agencies. So for Atlanta or Georgia, we have satellite offices in Savannah, Macon, Augusta, Columbus, just to name a few. But no, there's a DSAC coordinator in every field office.
Is this being part of the DSAC program? Is that an appointment, or how do you get to that? Where you start working with this office?
You mean as my position?
Yes, sir.
So when I first joined the FBI, I worked domestic terrorism cases for about 5 years. I did a year in counterintelligence, 5 years in human intelligence. Went to D.C. for a little bit, came back, became a recruiter for a little while, and then I came into this role. And so it's somewhat of a seasoned agent position. Okay. You've worked different cases, multiple cases throughout your career. And you've had some liaison experience as well.
Okay.
And so we select that internally. So someone we're looking for, like Charles said, that's got a broad breadth of experience, but also has the ability to establish those effective relationships with partners.
Yeah, I love it, man. I feel like I'm in Spy versus Spy or something.
That's really cool.
Because I think so many people are fascinated with what y'all do. As I told you in the beginning, a friend of mine's daughter, she's going to be doing an internship down in South Florida with one of the sheriff's departments, one of the local municipalities. Kind of the way that you described, you came up, right, doing the ride-alongs and that sort of thing. She's going into her junior year at University of Tampa, so she's down there. But there's so many people that are motivated, fascinated, intrigued by the FBI and what y'all do. And I feel like there's so many kids that are just probably that wouldn't normally listen to the show and going, man, that's exactly what I want to do with my life. And y'all are getting to live it. What does a partnership with the FBI and that and a corporate partner look like? How do y'all lay that out?
Go ahead.
So it's often engagement, routine engagement. We don't want it when there's an accident or incident that happens,
Can you
that'd be
define
the first
that?
time.
Define accident or incident. Can you define what that might be?
Anything that affects their operations. Now they're reaching out to us for the first time. We don't want that.
Sure.
We want to establish those relationships beforehand to mitigate those threats. That's the most effective way to do it.
Yeah, and then when people reach out to you at the Atlanta office, let's say they're not a good fit for DSAC. Can y'all route them somewhere else?
Yeah, so oftentimes the company they don't have the eligibility criteria to be in DSAC. We don't shy them away. We still build relationships with those small and medium-sized companies as well.
Yeah.
Providing with them same service. There's some benefits to DSAC. They don't get all the benefits.
Well, probably not big enough to need some of them. Am I right about that?
Correct.
Yeah, so when a company is in a situation like that, whether they would qualify or not, how do they reach out? Like pick up the phone, go to the website?
Yeah, so you can go to our website, fbi.gov. You can call our field office. We're on social media, Twitter, Facebook now, right?
Yeah.
So we're everywhere.
Yeah. If a company is in a bad situation, let's say something's happened there and it is causing their operations to be, gummed up, what should they be doing even as they're reaching out to y'all? Is there things that they can do to get ahead of some of this stuff?
A lot of major corporations, they have a security team, and they're combating that whatever threat or risk they have on a daily basis. So a lot of them are doing an awesome job. But when they need a force multiplier or another resource, they do reach out to us.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Daniel, this probably has to be something that, at least from as a small business, you're looking at this and you deal with a lot of the same things.
It happened to me. I mean, I lost millions of dollars of accounts of people on bond due to a cyber attack with a company that we used to run all the bail software with, and it was bad. I mean, they took everything, and so imagine trying to go find all these people's information, and it wasn't us. It was third party. It was separate from us, but it was. I mean, this stuff's happening. I mean, we all know this, right? Every day we talk about it all the time. It's just crazy, but.
What do y'all do in his situation? Is that something you can walk us through and help us understand, like how you help out a small business?
It goes state level, and then they're not getting involved until it's
Okay, so when it does get multiplied, like what's step one?
So any type of financial crime, we have a financial squad, crime squad. We have a supervisor with several agents on that squad, and we'll disseminate that information to that squad. They'll take a look at it, they'll evaluate it, and see if it meets our criteria to investigate.
Yeah, because they can't. If it doesn't fit the criteria, then they can't take it, obviously.
Well, yeah, but then there's probably another layer of people that might, right?
Which is state level law enforcement.
Yeah, but let's say we graduate, then. But that's what I'm saying. Like
that's your next step.
Yeah, the next step. Yeah, and I'm just. I'm so interested in it all, and I have so many questions, and I'm not even sure how to ask them. You know what I mean?
Well, so we do have task force as well, and on our task force, we have representation from other federal agencies, state agencies, and even local, Cobb County, DeKalb County, Gwinnett County, and so if we get a lead like that, and it may fit a certain county, or they may want to take a look at it, we may send it that way as well.
All right.
And depending on the nature of the incident, we're going to partner with them and treat them as victims and do everything we can to try to help them through that. An area we try to stay in, though, is we'd much rather prevent things than help a victim after they've already suffered a loss or a cyber breach, or whatever the nature of the incident is. So that's where these partnerships come in handy, is we routinely share an awful lot of information. So if we're seeing indicators of compromise or a certain type of ransomware that's coming out or something, we'll share that with our partners. We'll strip and anonymize that so that we're not sharing somebody's business out there in the open. But
you guys are mostly getting in stuff with like American Greed type stuff. I mean, right? Like that show American Greed. You know what I'm talking about? Like like the more higher level. Like
a Bernie Madoff kind of thing.
Well, not. I mean, yes. I mean that's extreme, right? That's huge. But I mean, like on that kind of type stuff. I feel like.
So that's what that would be kind of where your sweet spot is.
Yeah, I would say so.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, but when you talk about indicators, are y'all continuously scanning, trying to investigate? Hey, this is what's popped up. Let's see what that's connected to. Let's see where that road takes us.
Absolutely. And if you think about it, our investigations across the United States, we'll see a ransomware is coming from an IP address, a certain IP address overseas, and so we'll know that that's targeting company X. Well, we'll share that, we'll anonymize that, and then share that with other companies. Say, hey, if you're seeing scanning or probing on your network from this location, that's something to be aware of. And so they can harden their network before they have a breach, before they have a problem.
What are the indicators somebody might look for? And I'm sure, like the security officers at a big Fortune 1000 company, they would know the answer to that, but I don't think people listening right now would have an idea even what an indicator would look like. I mean, most people don't click on the text that said you've been driving in the HOV lane. There are people losing money that way. So what are these indicators that would come across your desk that would make people go, oh my gosh, I've seen that before?
Well, I think it's going to be the folks that are really focused on cybersecurity for a company, those kind of indicators. So they're very well versed on those kind of things, and so we'll share those with the CISOs and the folks that are manning the defenses for these large companies for their cyber networks. Another thing we can do is a lot of times we'll have the decryption keys for that ransomware, and so we can, if they suffer ransomware, we can help them immediately get back in business and decrypt their data and unlock their systems. But then there's a whole bunch of other things that Charles had mentioned before. Insider threats. We can help companies and sensitize them to what are the indicators of human behavior to look for when somebody's could be a risk. So it really is across all stratum of what the company does. We try to really be a partner to help them stay in a good place, stay out in front of that threat to prevent as much as possible. But then when they do suffer something, to try to come in and help them as quickly as we can.
How often is it somebody on the inside doing this?
It's all the time.
Is that mostly? Would you say it's mostly?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, it's 50-50? Yeah, I mean, I'm just like when you have these enormous businesses with these enormous amounts of money that are going back and forth, it just seems like it would be so tempting for somebody to be like, oh, I can figure this out. I'm just because, especially in Atlanta, you see the ransomware thing pop up all the time. Maybe it's Equifax or whatever. It happens all the time in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Well, and a lot of times that really is just human behavior. The weakest link in cyber defense is human behavior. We've all probably clicked on that link in the email that looked legitimate, but we really didn't scrutinize it enough. Or
happened to me 2 months ago.
That's right.
My wife's still mad at me about it.
We've all
and I had to get new check
yeah.
cards and the whole 9 yards, and I'm like, I know better. Like, I deal with this crap every day, dude, and they got my ass, so yeah, you know what happens.
That's exactly right.
I
back to my...
So I'm guilty as whatever you want to call it.
Back to my DOT, people were so,
Yes.
It's so natural to just, you expect that if it comes from the Georgia DOT, that it's legitimate, right?
The toll thing is what got me, because I was in 3 rental cars in 2 different states.
saying,
So I was like, oh, dude, I've been driving around tolls all over the place. So I'm like, it's got to be real. And I was on the phone, and I'm looking on my AirPod, and I'm like, oh,
You're not supposed to be on the phone when you drive the car.
No, I'm clicking. I'm like,
Now he's clicking. Now he's clicking. No, I love it. All right, tell me about, I obviously can't get into specifics, I understand that, but like stories that people would go, I know about that. I've heard about that. I've heard stories like this. Like I said, you don't have to get specific, but for here in Atlanta, for people that know that this is obviously a financial hub, a transportation hub, are there stories that you can share of things that you've had to track down?
Sure. So what's recently stopped Cop City.
Oh, yeah.
The Atlanta Police Foundation.
Yeah, absolutely right.
The Public Safety Foundation.
Oh, my God.
That was a hot topic here in town.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. A lot of these major companies, they donate money, right? And those extremist groups don't like that. And so there have been threats from time to time to different people.
Oh, I mean, those workers couldn't even go out to Cobb City. I mean, they were like literally like trying to burn their cars. I mean, like attack these people just because they worked for the construction company that was actually building the thing. So this guy had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm
and
just going to work, man.
Scared to go to
That's
work
right.
every morning. They had to literally staff officers. I mean, well, we've heard about it because they've all been on the show. But yeah, it's wild.
And they were like setting the equipment on fire and all. I know obviously that's not what y'all do specifically, but how do local municipalities work through that? Is there an FBI component to working through that?
Well, no. So they contact us. Most companies, like say for example, if someone there in the executive in the company, there's a threat against that executive.
Makes more sense.
Right. Threat to life, right? Yeah. So they will contact the FBI.
Yeah, and that's when y'all swing into action. Yeah, man, I'm so blown away by it. Are there any other examples of things that you might know that people that y'all have worked with that people would recognize?
A lot of examples, I'm sure, but I'm trying to think of what I would want to bring up. Because, again, like I mentioned before, one of the things that is imperative in that trusted relationship we establish with companies is they know they can come to us and that information is not going any further than with us.
Right. That's key right there is that relationship, knowing when you partner with an organization like the FBI that they feel safe. You know,
it has to be built on trust.
Yeah, absolutely right.
So how do you guys do that to like humanize? Because I mean, look, the FBI, it's intimidating. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, anybody you talk to about a sheriff, it's intimidating.
Dude, I get pulled over
and then you talk about
400.
FBI, and you're like, whoa. Everybody gets real serious in the room. So how does the FBI do anything to humanize that, like that relationship with the community and stuff like that? Because that's tough. I mean, you guys have a tough job in front of you because of who you are, obviously.
Our job is to go out, shake hands, let people know who we are and what resources we have. That's one of our objectives. And a lot of people don't know us. And so
I would say most people don't.
Yeah, you're right. And so that's what we want to do. We want to get out and let people know who we are and what we can do for you. We're here to help.
Do you feel like the FBI gets a bad rap sometimes? Because I feel like when you flip on the news, I mean, is that a bad question? Because I feel like it happens all the time. I feel like y'all get a bad rap about things.
No, I think that's fair.
Okay, good, because I do too.
Yeah.
I would say anybody that's listening right now would say that. I don't think is that controversial to ask that question?
I don't think so.
Okay, good.
I think people have strong opinions also, positive and negative toward the FBI.
Yeah,
but like Charles said, any relationship's built on trust. And so that's what we try to do is really get out and meet people and let them know us. You know, they can see that we're members of the community just like they are. Our children are going to school with their children. We're vested in protecting the community just like they are.
I was about to ask, where would you network like that? Where would you get out and shake hands and kiss babies?
Well, I think to us, partnerships are across the board. And it's not, DSAC is one of our premier programs, and it's really important to us, and we derive a lot of value, and I think companies do as well. But partnership's bigger than that to us. Partnership is from the community to academia to private industry, and that's DSAC's one of those premier programs, and then to our other law enforcement partners. And so that requires us to engage in with those across all of those every day.
Are there other law enforcement agencies that y'all work with through DSAC to help these companies or to keep the communication open?
Yeah, it goes back to that task force, right?
Yeah.
We can't do it alone. The FBI cannot do it alone. So we must form partnerships to accomplish the mission.
And who would be some of those that you work with? Is that something that you can share, like the different outlets that you work with?
Sure, and it depends on what we're addressing.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, it really starts with when we're talking law enforcement partners. It probably started, the best example was the Joint Terrorism Task Force model that started in New York. And since then, we've replicated that to every one of our field offices. But that's kind of been the model we've taken. So we bring in those other law enforcement partners at the federal, state, and local level, deputize them if they're not a federal agent, and then work collectively. And so we have shared authorities, experience, expertise, and collectively, it's much more effective addressing a threat. And so we've replicated that across other threats as well. So we have task force addressing gangs, violent crime, crimes against children, complex financial crimes, cyber crimes, counterintelligence, et cetera. And so we've replicated that model, and it's really proven to be the most effective way when we all collectively bring all those resources together.
What about when big events come to Atlanta? Especially, we just had the All-Star game.
FIFA World
FIFA's
Cup's
coming.
FIFA Club Cup just
Yeah,
happened. We have World Cup next year. We have the Peachtree Road Race. I think it's the largest 10K in the world. So yes, Atlanta's no stranger to significant events. We have the, I think, college football championship as well.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
the year after.
National championship, Final Four is going to be here relatively soon. What does that look like? Because does it increase the volume of threats because these companies are in Major League Baseball's in town, the National Football League's in town, FIFA's in town. Does that
that's when overtime for the DSAC unit goes high.
Yeah, exactly right. I would imagine. That the threat level of people trying to infiltrate, I don't know, the NFL or Major League Baseball, it just seems like that would be prime real estate to do it, and Atlanta has that all the time.
You're absolutely right. It's a busy time. I wouldn't say with so many more people coming to the area, I think there's increased risk. Certainly with the high visibility, and we know historically terrorist organizations have targeted those, and other people are inspired to do things to big spectacular event. That's what the world attention is on those events oftentimes.
Yeah, especially trying to make a statement.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we take the same approach. We work every day very closely with all of our partners. So we're embedded, sharing intelligence and monitoring the situation throughout the entire intelligence community as well as our foreign partners. Because sometimes that intelligence comes in from foreign partners, and so we're able to receive that and make sure we're understanding if it's being targeted or if there's talk about targeting these events. We have bomb technicians, our SWAT teams are engaged.
They've been on top of this building before. I've seen them. And I understand why, because of all the traffic that's coming through this, just this facility that we're at. You said terrorist organizations. That piques my interest because most people think terrorist organization. They think, hey, we're going to go do something and cause a scene. It's not always that though, right? Terrorist organizations work in the cyber world just as much, I would imagine, right?
Yes.
So
They got to get the money,
right? That's what I'm saying. So I would imagine with these high-profile events that those terrorist organizations are automatically like, okay, Atlanta's where we're putting our focus this week.
There's certainly always that interest, but it comes down to, is there someone with the intent and capability? Al Qaeda, ISIS, those individuals that are out there. Do they have someone, though, that has access, that has the intent and capability? So that's why we monitor it very closely for any indication there's somebody that is either affiliated with those groups or inspired by those groups that has that intent.
How do you figure out if someone does? Intent I can see, right? I can understand why a terrorist organization would try to do something. Like that part I can wrap my head around. But how do you know if they can actually pull it off? Like, what is it that says, yep, we need to focus on this? Is something we need to pay attention to?
Well, you never know if they can pull it off or not, but that's why we are always out there investigating. That's why we all have these trigger points and different methods that we can't reveal.
Oh, sure. I get that.
How we get information and work cases.
Goodness. Yeah. Again, back to the fascinating part, man. I think most people are like, holy cow. All of this would come through the streets that I drive on a daily basis? And the answer is yes.
That's right.
The world has gotten so much smaller than it was 10, 15 years ago, all because of maybe it's the internet, maybe it's the free-flowing information that we have through social media. I mean, the things that have changed. Matter of fact, I want to get into that maybe in the next segment, in the final segment. What's changed since 2006? When you started as an FBI agent and now to working with DSAC, what has made the job either harder or maybe even easier if there is something like that? You're listening to Justice Unfiltered on Extra 106.3. My name is Tug Cowart along with Daniel Matalon. He is the CEO of Second Chance Bail Bonds and a Second Chance Monitoring, and we will continue next. Final segment of Justice Unfiltered with CEO of a Second Chance Bail Bonds and a Second Chance Monitoring, Daniel Matalon. My name is Tug Cowart, along with Special Agent Charles Orgbon, as well as Paul W. Brown, both FBI agents and part of the Domestic Security Alliance. When we ended that last segment, I wanted to know about, if you can share, the things that have changed since 2006 when you started to where you are now with DSAC, and in a positive way or maybe even in a negative way. Or have you seen, I would imagine, great change?
Well, yes, over 19 years, yes, it's been a lot of change. So when I first joined, it was all about, well, we're really focused on intelligence after 9/11. Right? I was an intelligence officer in the Marine Corps. It's another reason why I joined the FBI. And then it's shifting just a little bit, more so on the criminal side. We're trying to get, I guess, we're more focused on criminal now.
Yes, sir.
Well, we still have a focus on terrorism.
Sure.
All cybersecurity.
AI, I bet, is huge.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic.
Oh my
Another
gosh,
monster.
I can only imagine the fears that everybody. I mean, from AI taking your job if you work in manufacturing to the things that AI could do on a cyber front. You know, just the ability and the changes. What about you? I would imagine the changes are gigantic. What are the biggest ones that you've seen?
To me, the biggest change really has been technology driven.
Yeah.
Because the pace of the change in technology. Think about the way we live our lives now. Every bit of it now
Everything's
is connected
online.
to the internet. We all
Everything.
do our banking, we communicate. Our lives are connected to the internet. So it's not surprising we've seen the evolution where crimes are now leverage those. So they're conducted in new ways, and entirely new crimes are committed, frankly, with advances in technology. And you mentioned AI. AI is one of those areas that holds such tremendous potential
Yeah.
for society.
For good and bad.
That's right. And so I just think about that. And so those are one of the areas that we wrestle with. How do we stay ahead of that? And comes back to partnerships.
Yeah.
It's so critical for us to partner with academia, partner with the private sector, because they're the ones that are working on those leading cutting edge technologies. And so that helps us to then apply that law enforcement filter to it. Something as simple as, how do you verify that a video that's posted online is legitimate?
Yeah,
It's not AI generated.
Because most of them look real.
That's
and,
right.
And they're getting worse and worse. I mean, I saw,
There's some good ones out there.
they're absolutely, some of them are hysterical, and you can clearly see, you can tell. But then there's others you have to look at 2 or 3 times. Be like, is that real?
It's incredible.
Did actress A, B, or C actually say what I feel
Well,
like
they can
I'm
pull the
seeing?
voices and
Dude,
they
it's
can literally
unreal.
make it, and it's like that's what they're saying, and it's like, dude, that is not
Can
what
you-
the person said.
Can
Like,
you
that is
imagine?
not the real tape.
Yeah. Can you imagine when it's
crazy.
indistinguishable and it's coming? How do y'all deal with that? Just the fact that you're going to have to figure
Well, they're
out.
not going to tell you how they do
Well,
it.
no,
so
yeah.
I can tell you that.
But it has to be a concern, right? I mean,
Yes,
the fact that you
definitely.
can't distinguish AI from reality anymore, that has to make your jobs 10,000 times harder.
Well, it's terrifying. And that's why we have some really smart people working with some of those private sector and academia partners to help figure that out. And, we have to do something that is going to withstand legal scrutiny, that has to be able to hold up in court.
Because it's
we
going to
can-
come in instantly,
That's right.
immediate challenge. It's
and we
gonna
can
be,
say
"Oh, this is-"
definitively
Yeah.
that is either legitimate and has not been altered, or it is fake.
Goodness gracious. People that are fascinated by this, like me, sometimes they do a ride-along program. Sometimes they're able to.
I don't think we're riding along with the
Well,
FBI,
but I'm just saying. But the local engagement, though, the like a local citizens academy. I've just learned that there's one of those. Mm-hmm. And how do people find out about it?
So we advertise that on our social media as well. We do have 2 community outreach coordinators, and they're very active in the community and getting the word out about the Citizens Academy.
What
We
does that
just
look like? What do you do there?
Yeah, so we invite community leaders into our office, into our space, into our house.
Where is this like? So if I live in Georgia, where would I go if I wanted to go into?
So we're thinking about doing one in Savannah.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
But it's typically hosted here in our FBI Atlanta office.
In Atlanta, because I mean, this is obviously the biggest city, and do people come from out of state to do it, or is that just a Georgia thing?
Just Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because
And-
every
And you don't
FBI
have to.
affiliate-
You don't have to be making $2 billion, right? To get
No.
into that.
Okay, see, that's important because I'd be out.
No, you
we
do
have
not.
a chance.
I'm not sure I have 25 in my pocket right now, so I'd be way out.
No,
but,
you do not.
But I think that's fascinating, and I would assume website, socials. You said that's where you'd find that stuff out.
How long is the course? Is it
6 weeks.
okay?
Oh,
So
my.
it's
about
1
right.
week. Is it
6 weeks,
right?
and then a 7th week is kind of the culmination graduation.
Right, and there's like one day a week, like in
Correct.
the evening
That's
time,
right.
probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what do you learn at the FBI Citizens Academy? What do you learn there?
Kind of soup to nuts about the FBI. Who we are, what we do, how we do it, and how we view things, and get to know us on a personal level. And so I think that's really important, because I think the people that come out of that often become ambassadors for us in the community, where they now know and trust us and really have a much better understanding of what it is we do and how we see things.
How would Tug and I do in that class?
I would fail. I'm a 3-time college dropout. I guarantee I'd fail. I'm not a good student. I kid somewhat.
There's no test. I think you can
good.
No test.
I think we should go check it out.
Dude.
I am going to look into it.
Absolutely. Let's get it done. But y'all don't just do the local Citizens Academy. You do National Night Out. And I just learned you do golf tournaments. And I'll sign up for that. Where's that?
We do.
Where's the sign up?
We do. So I've ran the FBI G-Man golf tournament for the past 5 years. We raise money for fallen FBI agents
That's
who died
awesome.
in line of duty.
Yes, sir.
For their dependents.
Yes, sir.
For college tuition.
That's a great.
It's through the FBI Agent Association.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then National Night Out, which is huge. Do you just partner with local municipalities for their National Night Out, or is that something y'all do on your own independently?
We do. And it varies on who we partner with, but
Correct.
usually we'll just...
whoever's having
right.
one, just get in there, booth,
That's
and
right.
and shake hands and kiss babies and meet the community. That way they know who you are and what you're all about. Is there anything we left out? Is there anything that would be good to share with people in the last couple minutes here?
When we were talking about these programs we have that I'm really proud of, we mentioned the Citizens Academy, we mentioned the golf tournaments, but we also host Teen Academy,
Oh yeah.
Teen Academies.
Collegiate Academy.
What's the website? Where do people go to see this? What website is that on? Or where?
Just straight up FBI.org?
FBI.gov.
Or gov. That's what I meant.
FBI.gov,
Yeah.
and then if you go to the FBI Atlanta page, you can find information on the programs we have here locally.
Perfect.
And so Atlanta, our territory is the state of Georgia.
Okay. Correct. Man, it's so fascinating what you do. And I appreciate your service. Thank you for your service in the Marine Corps as well as the FBI, Army as well as the FBI. I just can't thank y'all enough for taking the time to come in and just, I think, share the vast resources of the FBI and the fact that people shouldn't be just absolutely terrified when the FBI comes knocking at the door. I kid. Because you probably should if they're knocking at your door. If you're going to knock on their door, it's probably going to be all
Not
right.
good if they're already there. It's already over.
That's exactly right. Thank y'all so much. We appreciate you taking the time to come in.
My pleasure.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
This is Justice Unfiltered on Extra 106.3.